Our readings today seem to be telling to us something about that persistence in prayer, how we need to continue to pray unceasingly in all circumstances, in all situations. Some of you might be aware of this incident that took place in Chile. In 2010, a massive cave-in sealed the San Jose mine, trapping about 33 miners. They were in underground for, it was about 2,300 feet below the surface, and they were trapped within this cave. And there was no way that they could have survived being in that cave. And for about days and days, people tried to do rescue operations, and there were no signs of anyone having been saved. And it was about, I think, for 17 or 18 days they were searching, and eventually when one of the, they had these drill things that went into the ground, because it was 2,300 feet below. They had to use these major mechanisms to get these drills underground to find out if there is any sign of survival. And one fine day, when the drill came out, they could see that there was a paint on the drill, and there was a little letter that was attached on the drill. And the letter said, "All 33 of us are safe and we are doing well. Please come and save us, rescue us." And so this rescue operations, which was almost dying, like people were losing hope. They were like 17 days without food, without water. How are they going to survive? There was no chance that they could survive. And it was only after all 33 of them were eventually rescued, that was after 69 days, they came to know that one of the members of the 33 was a Christian. And the very day that they got stuck in there, he gathered all of them as best as he could, and then they started praying every day. He led them in prayer, and they used to have praise and worship. They used to sing praises. They used to, whatever psalms or prayers they could remember, they would gather and they would pray together. And about 17 of them, from what I remember, were not even religious. But they also joined in. They also started to feel a sense of hope, a sense of survival. They said, "This is giving us some strength." And there's one story that they shared, that one day there was this guy who was feeling very ill and sick, and they all gathered around him and started to pray with him. And the next day he was more active than the others. The person who was sick got well, and he was helping and doing things around inside that little cave where they were stuck. And this person, Jose Henrique, he's this Christian. He shared about how he always had a thing about praying in all circumstances. It was something that was instilled in him by his parents, by his community that he went to church. And so in all circumstances, be it hardships, be it joyful moments, he would always pray unceasingly. And so that's what he led this whole group of those 33 people. You could go back and watch those videos of the rescue operation where all 33 are coming out, and they are so active, they are so lively. It doesn't seem like they were stuck in that cave for about 69 days. They seem like they just went on an adventure trip, and they're back all jumping around and excited, full of energy. None of them had to be hospitalized. Just one maybe because he had other medical conditions. My point is, my dear friends, it only takes one person to change the world in some sense. If we can do our bit, if we can pray unceasingly, if we can use the gifts that the Lord has given us through our faith and through our church, our community, we can change the world. We can bring some sense of hope, some sense of light into darkness. We can bring healing. We can bring restoration in places where there is brokenness and darkness and evil. And that's exactly what Jesus does. And we hear it even in our forefathers, Abraham and Jacob as well. You would know how he wrestled with God until he got what he wanted. And Jesus shows us that when we come to pray, we need to have the right disposition. We need to orient ourselves in a way that is focusing upon God, not coming directly and giving him our shopping list, saying, I want this, I want that, but actually coming to the Lord and asking, like acknowledging who he is to you and me. Firstly, by looking up to the Lord and saying to God our Father, and acknowledging that he is truly our Father. He is the author of the universe. And Jesus asks us to pray by focusing on worship and adoration. Start by worship and adoration, saying, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. In the gospel we heard today, we don't hear about your will be done, but in in the Gospel of Matthew, we hear even your will be done. And so when we come to prayer, we should be able to already hand over our situation into the hands of God and say, Lord, I don't get what's happening in my life. It's very overwhelming. It's too much for me. There is pain, there is hurt, there is sickness, or whatever it is. I bring it to you, Lord, and I know you are the author of life. You have everything that I need. And I come to you, I surrender it all to you, into your hands. And when you're doing that, you're able to then come to a place where no matter what the result is, you're able to let go of the outcome, and you say, yes, I know God wouldn't do anything that is not good for me. He wouldn't let anything bad happen to me. Just as Jesus said, who among you would give a snake instead of a fish, or a scorpion instead of an egg, and all that? Like, we, as bad as we are, we do good things for the loved ones, for our loved ones. How much more will God our Father do for us? And so we are called to orient ourselves to God and our vision, our thoughts, and then we will see how God sees things. We will be able to see from his perspective. And so truly persevering in prayer implies that it's more than mere persistence on our part. It combines a peaceful expectation and a humble acceptance of God's will. St. Paul says that we speak to the Father as Jesus did, because we share the very life of Jesus through our baptism. Through our baptism, we are no longer slaves. We are made children of God. We are heirs to the kingdom. And so we should be able to come before the Lord, trusting that he will do only good for us. And by persisting and by praying unceasingly, we are able to surrender all circumstances, all situations into the hands of the Lord. And he is able to make a way where there is no way. So dear brothers and sisters, this Sunday, the church is inviting us to actually embrace that truth of knowing that God our Father will always be by our side. He might allow temptations, he might allow trials and tests to come our way, but it is only so that we can grow in a deeper love for our Lord and understand what truly matters in our life.